Welcome everyone to Studio Insights with Belvista Studios. You got myself, Kim, you got Victoria and Hannah. Thanks for choosing to learn with us. We're very grateful to have you as part of our community, and keep sharing the love. We appreciate it. This chat, Studio Insights, is our opportunity. How it varies from all the other videos is it's our opportunity to ask questions from each other. Either something we appreciate the other does well and we want to develop those skills, or we want to know how to do something and get different perspectives. And yeah, here we are. So I'm going to go first. My question, hopefully I'm wondering if I'm going to steal some Hannah's question, but anyway. So my question is for you, Vic. And I know you've got some new client projects at the moment, so developing some templates. And I would love to know what your design process is from you're given the task to develop a client's template. So how do you come up with the inspiration, and how do you pick that's the one? And then it's what I find is like, yeah, that's a really nice template that I'm going to work with. And then as screens get developed or different pages get developed, you're like, oh, how do I make it work? So any tips for making it work and how to get that visual, aesthetic, beautiful designs that you have been creating? And just for anyone, if you follow us on things like Instagram and stuff, in our stories, we share some of this work. So you guys should check out the Facebook groups and our Instagram, because sometimes you get sneak peeks behind the scenes and you would have seen Vic's beautiful designs. Anyway, back to you, Vic.
Well, I always start off looking for inspiration. Sometimes it's good and like the client might have provided something. Other times like you or Hannah might have said, this is cool, like we should try this for this project. So I like collect all of that, and then usually still look on like Google, Shutterstock, or things like Canva to look up more specific designs usually. So it could just be like looking up, you could look for something like modern website or something, modern website design or something like that on Google, and just like scroll through the images. Shutterstock, I'll usually look at things like PowerPoint templates, because then you can see like a full set of designs. And Canva's a whole bunch of different templates, so you can kind of get inspiration from any type. Like it could be their video templates or social media stuff or like anything. So I start just by like looking through just for something that's like stands out at me that looks nice. And I'll usually try and get an idea before I look at those of what I want to look out for. Like, am I looking for something that has lots of room for photos, or like lots of white space, or lots of text, like whatever. I need like some kind of idea from the client task, basically, to know like what kind of thing am I making? Is it going to be like really information, like text heavy, or do I know they want lots of images? And if they want images, do I know like what kinds of images? So yeah, using that as like a guidance, because obviously when you look on things like Google, there's millions of images and like lots of really nice stuff too. So yeah, getting an idea first of what I need to be looking for. Not like super specific, but just like a rough kind of idea. Then yeah, just looking at different templates and designs and seeing what I like. I don't really know how to explain that part, because for me it is just kind of like personal preference. Like I just look at things and I decide if I think they look nice or not. And yeah, then I'll generally take just screenshots of things that I do like. So it could be like a whole screen that I like. It could be just, I don't know, like the way an image is being cropped, or if it's on Shutterstock, it could be like a full set of things where I think like a few of the different slides could work. So I just collect from everything I've looked at. I collect a bunch of screenshots of things I do like that I think will work. And put them in a Word document, usually, just on Google Drive or something. Then I'll normally have a plan of what kind of thing I need to create. So if it's for a look and feel, like it might be a title slide, a video slide, a text and image slide, or whatever. So get clear on that, and then like compare that list to the designs I've seen and kind of match up what I think would work for which type of slide, and then start designing from there. And so I guess for that process, a lot of the time it is like I look at I identify like what elements I do like from whatever the design is, and I'll try and replicate that as best I can with the client content and with new images and their colors and everything. And that is like a very, like I have to like keep going over and over it kind of thing. Like it's not often that I'll see a design I like and replicate it. I'm like, yeah, that's done. Like there is usually a lot of adjustments in that I need to make, because photos and colors and like font types make such a big difference to a design. So sometimes when I apply the client's brand, it might not always look as nice as the one that I've seen with like cool bubble writing or something like that. So yeah, then it's like constantly just like trying to improve it and like figure out what's working and what's not working. And for that, I've actually found recently that I find it, because I used to get stuck like having a blank canvas. You try something, it doesn't work, and then I'm like, well, I'm back to nothing now. But I've found now that I find it a bit easier if like I do a design and I'm not 100% happy with it. I used to just scrap it and start again, but now I'll like copy it and paste it and then start moving something around on like the next design, so I don't like lose my original one, even though I didn't like particularly like it. Because yeah, then I can play around with the next one, and I might like realize there's bits from the second one that I like that I've moved that could work with like stuff from the first one. Or I might get more inspiration from the second one to be able to fix the first one. And yeah, then it's not like at the end of 4 hours, whatever it is, like I might have 15 like almost their slides instead of like 2 that I really like, or potentially 1 where I'm like, I just can't get anything to work. And that's when I find it good to have someone else come in. So I think like getting feedback is a very important part of the design process. Because it could be like, I think a screen might be like 80% there, but there's just something that doesn't seem right, but I'm in too deep.
Yeah.
I can't figure out what it is. So that's when it's good to get someone else's opinion, I think. And usually you'll like point out straight away to me like why it might not be working. Whereas if I could have looked at it for like another 5 hours and not realized what it was. So yeah, I think just like having like the inspiration there to constantly like refer back to. And yeah, not just like scrapping something straight away if you don't like it, just like move on, try something else. And then maybe you can go back to the other stuff later and rework it based on something you have done that you've liked.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
cool.
Kind of it, I think.
Yeah, get from that, like basically experiment, never delete something, and get a fresh perspective. Not everyone has access to a team member to get feedback on. So sometimes that fresh perspective can be looking at it on a different device, or just coming back to it, like go for a walk. And like what I find is really cool and encouraging, like that process is so good that you just shared. And what's really encouraging for people watching is that like you don't have a design background. Like you've never studied design, you've just kind of been experimenting and looking at the world, and then decided like this is like you've got there through experimentation and you're self-taught, and you're already like your designs are beautiful. I think that's really encouraging for other people that haven't got that skill set either.
Well, yeah, it definitely takes a lot of experimentation, but I feel like I'm slowly getting there.
It looks so good. When I got the final templates this morning, I was like, oh my gosh. Like I was like wowed by them. So you did a really good job.
Thanks. Yeah, I think photos do make a big difference.
Yeah, that's something that we definitely have figured out as a team. Get them photos in. The photos are where the visual appeal can come from, and hide other things if your design is not as great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hannah, do you want to ask you a question?
So that was my question.
That's why I went first. I knew it would be. Sucker, sorry. Nah.
Stress rash. Laughing because I saw it like appearing over time, and I was like, oh, it must be stress.
You shouldn't have pointed it out. I didn't even notice.
No, I find it funny. It's just weird. That was great, Vic. Thank you. I took notes. was my question too. But I do have another question I can ask you, Kim, that would help me with something I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
So I'm currently working on creating audio scripts for a work health and safety project. It's like it's like this huge document of like hundreds of pages that I have to basically put into short animation scripts for each topic.
Yeah.
And you're going to be the peer reviewer. I've got my ideas around how I can make it like human-centered and effective and all that. But do you have any advice or insight for me that would help me at this point so that when you get it to review, it's in a good place?
Well, what have you done then so far?
So I've done information mapping.
Yeah.
So I've gone through and basically like pulled out the need to know information and separated it into the topics. I'm using our how to write animation scripts formula. So it's like the attention grabber, the impacts that the person can have, what our expectations are of them, and the support that's available. And so then I've gone through the information mapping and highlighted like the attention grabber for topic 1, all the attention grabber parts, and then gone through each part of the animation formula. And so now looking at the information mapping and looking at that information I've highlighted to write the scripts. And the scripts are currently broken up into like attention grabber, impact, expectation, support. So I've got headings, and I'll remove the headings at the end. That's where I'm up to at the moment.
And so what do you want from me right now?
Well, do you have like any other insight where you're like, I would do this, or like I'd love to see the script done in this way? Like it's basically an open question of if there's anything else that you would.
Nah, I don't, because I would be conscious of tainting the process if I did that to be Kim-centered and not human-centered. And what I might like to see, will defeat the purpose of all the hard work that we've put into creating our process. And so for people watching, everything we share on YouTube, Hannah's spoken about a blog there, that AIDA formula for writing attention grabbing scripts. She's referring to things from the Creator Hub as well. So all of those things are things that we've experimented with, and we know that they work. And we know that they work because they get good training results. Clients are able to use them, give us good feedback on them. Minimal feedback, I would say, is probably the most beneficial reward to show that our process is working. So for me, it sounds like you've used our process, and therefore I trust that it's going to be the way that it needs to be when it gets to me. And then from that perspective, when I look at it, the first time I look at it is a learner perspective. So if I was a learner, how would I receive the scripts that you give to me? So all I know at the moment is it's a work health and safety certificate that people actually get like a tangible qualification from. And that's all I need to know, because if I'm in the workplace, I probably only know that as well. So from that perspective, I'm perfect. I'm primed to be your learner, to be able to give you good feedback. And then the second thing is I'll just be referring to the things that you mentioned in terms of, did I feel motivated? Did I care? Did I know the impact, which is, I know what our instructional design process is. So I'll be looking to go, did I feel that way? What can I do now as a result of these intro topics? So no, because I know that our process is really good, and I know that you're really good at doing the process for the work that you produce.
All right. Sweet. I was thinking more like if you could think of like any other blogs or anything that is our process that I should add to it. That's probably more.
No.
But if you think
it sounds like you've done the thing.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you. Easy one.
Basically, you're doing good work. Just keep doing good work. And don't doubt yourself.
My questions for Kim.
Not
I probably should have gone before Hannah because it was related to the question she asked me. But so I want to know so you were giving me the feedback on the designs that I did. And as I mentioned before, I feel like you do kind of pick up on things straight away and you'll say like, I know what might not be working, or I know what we can like improve on. And it does kind of seem like it's like super quick. You've just looked at it and you're like, yep, I can see it straight away, which I know would have to do with like your experience and everything. But I want to know, like, if when you look at designs like that, is there like questions you're asking yourself, or like, because now it might be an automatic thing where you can just look and see, like, I don't know, you just look and it's like when I look at something and I say, yeah, I like that, or I don't go through like a full-on thought process. Yeah. But I guess when you were learning how to identify that stuff, was there like questions you asked yourself, or like key things that you just remembered to look out for each time?
Yeah, basically if I don't love it, I'm like, I got some work to do, girl. No, so there is, like, I have studied graphic design, so I kind of have the foundation stuff and those questions to ask at the very first time you look at anything in the world, a newspaper, front page, the car design that goes by, when you're deciding what color to paint a room. All of these things are design, right? And it is, do I like it or not? Is that working? Yes or no? So yeah, then basically the next steps, there's simple things actually we have a resource on the Creator Hub that is basically what is happening in my head. And it is, I think it's graphic design 9 tips or something, but in that is a really good starting point for non-graphic design trained people. But when I'm looking for things, I'm looking for alignment of things. I'm looking for something that, where does my eye go? Is my eye going to the right place on the screen or the document, or where it's supposed to be? So if I close my eyes and I open and look at what it is, what am I looking at first? And is that the first thing I'm supposed to be looking at as a learner? And then what am I meant to be looking at second? So sometimes, I remember yesterday, Vic, there was like a yellow little, like, just design little rectangle, and that came up. Remember, I was like, oh, it doesn't quite sit right there. It's because yellow is such a bright color. As soon as it came onto the screen, I could only look at the yellow. And then I was like distracted by the layout. I was like, oh, where do I go? And I never ever got to the heading of like the heading and then the information, because I was stuck in this little spiral. So that's another thing I'm looking for, is, am I going to where I need to go? And normally they do it in top left down to the center of the screen, or like mid left, and then off to the bottom right. And if we think about e-learning designs, that's why it's kind of like the heading is at the top left, then the text, and the navigation is at the top right, because we've gone, I know what I'm here to learn on this screen, then I'm learning the information, and then I'm ready to progress. So that's why our navigation is down there. So that's basically the way the eye works. So I'm looking for that. Is our hierarchy of information in the right place? I am also looking for, trying to think, balance on a page, like harmony. Are things working together well? Are they working in harmony, or is there one dominant thing that is taking away from something else on the screen, or vice versa? And that can be, sometimes you even break that down from screen to screen as you're going. You might have like image that's beautiful and it's a bit dark. Next one's beautiful, a bit dark. Next one is beautiful, but it's light. And it's kind of like the overexposure happening here. There's that kind of design stuff. So I'm looking for consistency across screens. Do I know I'm in the same learning experience? Am I being brought on a journey? Is my experience easy to follow? So I'm looking for because in some of the designs you might have like the heading and stuff on the left, but then for example you're doing steps at the moment, so you got step 1 on the left and then the information, but step 2 actually comes in from the right and is on the right. So I'm looking to go, is that confusing as a learner, because you've just brought me from left to right, now right to left, and we as in Western society read left to right, so that's why we tend to go that top left of navigation to the diagonal bottom right is important. So I'd say I'm looking for alignment, number 1, harmony, so balance on the screen is, and there's a rule of thirds, it's called. Basically you see it when your phone opens and tries to take a photo, that it's got a grid on it. So if you put that on when you're designing, you can go, okay, well the text is going to go for 2/3 of the screen, and then I'm going to have an image for the other third. So that's what that harmony is about. And then I'm looking for clashes of things. So clashes might be where, yeah, like I'm not looking at the right thing when I'm supposed to, and that's, or is it a clash of color? Is something not right? And I think, sorry, I'm trying to remember it, sorry. I think then I go to like our QA checklist, which is stuff like, is every heading consistent throughout? Are they all bold and this size? Is everything I interact with, for example, yellow? But then you've got this random rectangle that's yellow. I want to click it because you've trained me to click yellow things. So therefore I go, that can't be yellow because it's not clickable. So I'd encourage people to get that design resource from the Creator Hub. And yeah.
I will get that too.
There's more elements in that, but I think if you focus on what do you like, what's working, what's not working, how is the alignment, is if something's running off the screen like a heading and then you've got something coming down, they need to align, or it needs to be a design decision that it is a significant amount in, not just a couple of pixels off, because that's where the eye gets distracted. So you're trying to make it an easy as possible experience for a learner to just flow through your experience. I know exactly what I need to do. I don't need to think. There's nothing pulling my eye over here and over here and over here and over here. And I think if you look at and Google like what you said, web modern designs and stuff, they've already done it for you. So if you're just replicating and using that as inspiration, they're trained in that, so it makes your life easier rather than learning all the stuff.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like the tip resource thing will be like a good little checklist for me to use, just as like a final sort of check in myself before I share it, to get like the obvious things that I should sort of be picking up on, I guess. Yeah.
Was there any stuff that you were like, I'm going to remember that, like that I gave you feedback that I haven't mentioned, that you're like, oh, I'm going to remember to do that in future?
No, because I kind of think the main one that stood out for me was the alignment. Because I was kind of just putting things on and moving them without, like moving them looking at the overall screen, but not at each asset, like in comparison to other lines and shapes on there. So it was just like, I guess, not going into as much detail, because like some of the things I might have only had to move them a few pixels for it to be like in line, but like you noticed that, but I didn't, because I just like saw it, the whole thing, whereas you were like specifically measuring up each thing. I feel like that stood out to me because that happened with a few of the slides I showed you, and I hadn't thought about that at all.
But I don't know if you've ever been like taught to even think about that, you know.
I feel like we have. When you were talking through it then, I was like, I've definitely asked a similar question on here before, but it hasn't sunk in, obviously.
Remember how we're learning graphic design hardcore?
Yeah, well, that what happened? Can't have been that hardcore.
I think that is the value of a fresh perspective, because when I know if it's the reverse, I'm doing a design and then I give it to you guys or whatever, you're like, why did you do that? You know, or like, no, like you need to have the image needs to be further down the screen, or you need to change that from black to white. But you get caught up in your designs, like you're so immersed in them that it's hard to see it. You get design fatigue. So that's why a fresh perspective, or which we were talking about earlier, is really important with design. Yeah.
And I'll definitely still need that, obviously, but I think there's definitely some things I know I can improve before it gets to you. And I think I'm getting better now at like, because the thing is, like, we talk about this stuff and then I forget when I actually need to use it, but I think I'm getting a bit better at like putting reminders somewhere and actually looking at those reminders before I do a task. So I'm going to add the graphic design resource to my reminder for whenever I do a graphic design task.
And I guess revisit the QA checklist as well, because that's something that is useful, like especially that focuses on alignment so much. Doesn't go into as much detail, but yeah.
Thanks.
Oh, good. Nice work. All right. Thanks for watching another episode of Studio Insights with Belvista Studios. Go check out the Creator Hub. The links are in the descriptions. There are so many resources that if our stuff resonates, you are going to get even more value there, and go invest in yourself. Peace out.
What's up, awesome human? Thank you on behalf of myself and the Belvista Studios team for continuously choosing to learn with us. We really appreciate it. If the tips and the insights and the context resonate with you and you want to take your skills to the next level, or you want to make your life way easier, you will love our Creator Hub. The Creator Hub is a place for people like you and us. Basically, it's the stuff that we use internally at Belvista Studios, and then we just share it publicly with you. The Creator Hub is created by instructional designers for instructional designers, and what you'll love there at the moment is we've got a quiz, Could I Be a Better Instructional Designer, that has so much tips in the feedback if you're interested in human-centered design or just taking your skills to the next level in terms of the solutions you're creating, the problems you want to solve. But in there as well, aren't we cute? That's us. But we've got the coaching courses, freebies, give us gratitude, and also we've got some templates. And basically they're always around the lens of learning experience design, instructional design, and e-learning. So a human-centered design focus is very much what we're about at Belvista Studios. So putting your learners at the heart of a solution and creating something for their needs. So there's the human-centered design stuff, and then we've also got the business stuff. So this is the stuff they don't teach you about when you want to become a freelancer or a consultant in the instructional design world. So go check it out. The link is in the description. You can check out everything that is available for you. Thank you for choosing to learn with us. Continuously invest in your skills. You will be rewarded as an instructional designer. Share this stuff, share it with other people, because when we are better instructional designers, we create better solutions that create better humans, that create a better world. So we have a very important role, and I'm excited to be on this journey with you. Have an awesome day.